The Washington Commanders are making some moves. Let's talk about in this video. And welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs podcast. My name is Greg. I'm your host. And this channel is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. And we have some news breaking today. The Washington Commanders have informed that Charles LENO is being released and Logan Thomas. So Charles LENO was our starting left tackle. Of course, Logan Thomas was our starting tight end. The Washington Commanders are deciding to move on without those two, which now to me pretty much signifies that we're going to be looking for another left tackle in the draft. And does this actually mean that the Washington Commanders may think about trading down in the first round to pick up Joe Alt or the other guy, the Penn State guy? I'm sorry, but his name, it is so hard for me to pronounce. I have to call him the Penn State guy. Forgive me for that, honestly. Forgive me. But yeah, so what does this mean? Or will those guys drop far enough? One of those guys drop far enough to where Washington could still pick up their rookie quarterback at number 2 when they trade back into the first round to pick up one of those guys? This is the question that's going, of course, is going to be answered during the draft, but I honestly, I kind of thought we were going to hold on to Charles LENO because, if we are investing in the first round into a quarterback, then we're going to need to probably keep Charles LENO around because the other two left tackles are likely to be gone the first round. So now this really opens up some questions because we know they're going to need a left tackle. And Adam Peters likes to build through the draft. And so if this is the case, then will the Washington Commanders forego drafting a quarterback high and trade down and pick up more draft picks and draft one of the left tackles? Then maybe they wound up drafting J.J. McCarthy, somebody like that. I mean, it could happen. So, you're starting to wonder with these moves. And of course, Logan Thomas, again, we knew that Thomas was basically kind of a shell of how he was when he first came to Washington. And I think he kind of exceeded our expectations. And he had a good year. He's a fellow Hokie. I love him to death. But we knew that we needed to have another number 1 tight end. The question is, Cole Turner, they didn't really give him much of a chance. And honestly, to me, every time he stepped out on the field, he made plays. Now, of course, the idea was, well, he wasn't really much of a blocker, and we need our tight ends to be blockers as much as being pass receiving tight ends. So maybe that was part of the reason as well, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with Cole Turner. But this also points to the idea of either picking up a tight end free agency or drafting a tight end. And I feel like there's a lot of tight ends coming up in the draft that the Washington Commanders can choose from, guys that can start right away. But the biggest thing, honestly, is Charles LENO being cut because, of course, both these guys are going to save the Commanders money. The Commanders are likely going to be over $100 million now. $100 million? Yes, $100 million. Whoa! The cap space? It's ridiculous. So that left tackle position, there's not really, from what I had seen before, that there really didn't seem to be any quality left tackles out there in free agency. So if that's the case, then you almost feel that it's a foregone conclusion that the Commanders are going to draft one. And if they are going to draft one, it's going to be wind up, Penn State guy, Joe Alt. Then they're going to have to trade back into the first round to get him, or they're going to be trading down from number 2 to get to that position to draft one of those guys and then pick up one of the other quarterbacks that's in the Penix, McCarthy, Bo Nix category. So this is getting interesting, folks. Did the Washington Commanders actually show their hand by releasing Charles Leno? That is the question that I kind of want us to talk about, because I think there's a lot to be said about that. Had Logan Thomas, or I should say Charles Leno, had stayed with the team, you kind of feel like, okay, they're going to roll with Charles Leno for another year and then hopefully pick up a quality replacement upgrade left tackle the following year. But now releasing him, to me, that changes everything. And I think it does, in a way. I think it does kind of tell you a little bit about the thought process with what the Commanders are going to do in the draft. So, folks, let me know in the comments what you think about this as well. So, Charles Leno Jr. cut, Logan Thomas cut. The Commanders are making moves. We are heading toward a new direction for sure. Folks, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a share. And also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell when you do. You can also support this channel by going to our Mint Mobile links in the description. Mint Mobile saves you a lot of money on your wireless bill, so you want to check that out as well. Okay, folks, I will see you in the next one. Take care.